But anyway, speaking of evil empires.
Yes.
We're doing like two different songs.
Yeah. Both by the same composer, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Disney. Yes.
Evil Disney.
Star Wars Episode 9.
Star Wars episode shit.
Episode shite. Star Wars Episode 9 is we hope the final film in the Skywalker saga.
Yes.
And there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, there is.
we're both proper Star Wars nerds, innit?
Yeah.
There's a bit to unpack.
I'm gonna just start with a little question. Did this remind you a lot of the last season of Game of Thrones?
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
so
fucked it. Right.
We're in the whole podcast.
Yeah. Essentially, Game of Thrones, very similar to Star Wars.
Really well.
It was very in depth. It all made sense.
They rushed it in the last season.
And then
they this said, is the thing. I felt when I was. By the way, spoilers. We're probably going to spoil some shit. So if you haven't watched it, click away. Yeah. Well, don't click away. Click forward.
It's probably not even in the cinema still. So
it's
too late.
It's
wait till Blu-ray.
Yeah,
who watches Blu-ray? DVDs.
Yeah, that died.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just I felt from start to finish it was so rushed, and then now that the news is coming out that there's a JJ cut, and the JJ cut's meant to be
like an hour longer,
hour and a half longer.
Fucking hell.
Hour and a half longer. See, there's so much stuff, bro. Oh my god,
I don't even know what to pick. I don't know what to pick out. I know, innit? Will we come back?
Well, there's because there was apparently, because they filmed all the Force ghosts. They had Mace Windu, Samuel Jackson. They had Anakin.
Anakin's actor kicked off about it, didn't he?
Yeah, he got pissed off. Yeah, no, they basically apparently they cut all that out because they felt like they wanted a story that was more tied together with just Luke and Leia.
Yeah, I don't. Where did they get this fucking idea from?
They made it so much like. I thought Leia had way too many scenes.
Yeah. They should have. Leia was part of Luke's story.
What's her real name?
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher. Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. Big up. No diss to the original Princess Leia and that. Big part of Star Wars, but a big part of sort of Luke's arc. Darth Vader's arc, the main characters of the fucking story.
Don't get me into Darth Vader's arc. Oh,
no, but this is what I mean.
I need to say this.
How did you survive? I escaped.
The last
escaped a fucking atom explosion.
Oh my god! Fucking. If you're watching this right now, go watch. Go watch the end of episode 6.
Yes.
Watch what happens to the Death Star. It fucking blows up into fucking smithereens.
Yeah, literally nuclear explosion.
Explodes, and then apparently he's alive again.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I escaped.
A lot happens in Star Wars. I can get past that. The Force brought him together. Whatever. I can get past
yeah.
But the thing that gets me the most, is the fact that they call it the Rise of Skywalker when it's actually all about Palpatine.
Yeah.
It's actually all about the Palpatine family. It's Rey versus Sidious.
Yeah.
Which is the Palpatine family. So that's just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And also the whole point of I heard a quote from George Lucas. It wasn't a quote. It was just something he said, but it was something about how he didn't want to do 7, 8, and 9. Because he felt like the story started and ended with Anakin.
Yeah.
So, Phantom Menace, they find him, works his way up. Episode 6, he dies.
Yeah.
And then it's like...
Because it works like that, doesn't it? Because of the 7, ending.
Okay, cool. You can start 7, but you better lead it to some mad place.
That's it. 7 should have been the introduction to the new characters, and then Luke should have come back in as the hero.
Speaking of new characters... Do you know what pisses me off the most?
What?
John Boyega. Poor guy, man.
I know.
Poor fucking guy. Do you know what? He should have been a main character.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but what's her name? What's the
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley.
Mate,
I'm sorry, trash actor. Trash.
I fucking fancy you so much. Don't listen to him.
Your acting was trash in 9, but
it could be the editing, could be the directing, but it didn't work.
It didn't work.
It just didn't.
It didn't work. It didn't feel like a story. It felt more like, oh yes, I'm the nice British girl and I'm reading some lines.
Yeah,
and it's like it just didn't feel legit. Do you know what? I feel like 7 and 8. They happened. Okay, 8 fucked up. Cool.
Yeah,
there was a way to bring it all back together with 9, and I feel like that's what the JJ cut was trying to do.
Yep.
But then all these Disney execs have come in.
Don't worry about the story making sense.
No. They made it shorter so they could show more showings.
Yeah,
ridiculous. They just fucked up the story just so they could make more. They would have probably made more money.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what as well? How you can tell that they're sort of fucking the nerds, the old school people off and bringing the kids in is, do you know what moment I knew? They can fly? They've been flying since fucking episode 2. Since the fucking Clone Wars, they've been flying. Yeah? You play all the old Battlefronts and that, you got jetpacks and shit.
No, they do still.
But they brought that in because the younger kids won't know. And they'll be like, oh my god, flying stormtrooper, I want that for my birthday. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that, when I saw that, that was the knife and the twist. And I was just like, oh. So you can take out all of like the really important scenes, but you can put in all the scenes that push the merch a little bit. Yeah. And
they even wanted to get all them little characters in, all the little cute characters, so they can just sell toys and that.
Yeah, why couldn't they just go like to Kashyyyk and see the Wookiees or something? Do you know what I mean? Like they have to. And actually, in the JJ cut, don't they actually see more of like Tatooine or somewhere like that?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard about that. I've heard about other stuff, but I haven't heard about that.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what? Episode 9. Yeah, this is Harry's breakdown of how it should have gone. Yeah.
Yes. Cool. Theory time.
Theory time. So, what I think should have happened was John, like, okay, Razor Palpatine. Okay, cool. We can let that run. I think. Obviously, we had Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. He had his sort of change of heart. He went from the dark side to the light side. He came over to the light side. Yeah. He should have been the one to survive. Yes. He is by blood a Skywalker.
Yep.
So the rise of Skywalker. And do you know what? This is what it should have, because one of the scenes they cut out was Hayden Christensen saying to Ben Solo about how after his death, his Force Ghost is like, oh, I was light, blah blah blah, like telling him to turn to the light side, basically. So that means that Anakin would have still had influence on how,
and it would have made so much more.
Anakin would have had influence on Palpatine actually being destroyed for the final time.
Yeah.
But he had zero influence.
He just Skype Ray every time.
Fucking Skype calls. What even was
I just grabbed a necklace and he accidentally grabbed the necklace. Oh, and it happens to be an indigenous necklace to this planet that he can just tell like that as well. Like, how would you grab a necklace? Bearing in mind, if I grabbed a necklace from Bolivia, I wouldn't fucking know it's from Bolivia and we're on the same planet. How the fuck would you just grab a necklace and be like, oh my god, this is part of that planet that's on the outer rim that I went there that one time 30 years ago? Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But again, like you say, the way it was rushed was that plot holes, there can be plot holes if they're sort of half-assed filled back in. But when they're just left and go, there's no hole there. Yeah. What hole? What, Chewie died? No, he didn't. Yeah. Luke's lightsaber got cut in half in the last episode. No, it didn't. Kylo's helmet was destroyed on the ship. Kylo leaves the ship. The ship gets destroyed with the helmet on it. So how's the helmet survived?
The monkeys put it together, innit?
yeah. That was weird as well.
Oh my god,
that was weird. Why did he have chimps? What the fuck?
Do you know what else pissed me off?
Snoke.
When fucking Chewie died. Or didn't die. Oh my god. That could have been, because you know what? This is what I'm saying about.
It would have added.
This is
what
I'm saying about the arcs and who ended up at the end and stuff. It all comes full circle. Rey should have used that Force lightning, found that inner darkness in herself, and she should have turned bad.
Yeah, because she turned bad for 5 seconds.
She didn't even turn bad.
I know. Yeah, she just saw herself. There's me looking a bit more hot.
I'd never felt at any point that there was really she was ever enticed into that, even though it's in her blood.
Yeah,
it's in her blood to turn to the dark side.
She was Palpatine.
She was literally
more evil than Darth Vader when he was his most evil. Palpatine,
exactly.
Really, when you look at it, it's like the most evil ever.
Yeah. He was probably the most powerful. Well, not the most powerful, but he was the most successful Sith Lord. Well,
that was human.
We're gonna get into it too.
Yeah. Let's not start talking about Darth Plagueis and shit.
Start bringing in fucking Old Republic and that.
Yeah. Well, technically 4,000.
Technically, look at Darth Nihilus. No, but yeah, man. So I think John Boyega, Finn should have found his like connection with the Force.
That was my favourite part of the film. Well, it was the most convincing bit, was his acting during it, and like it just made sense.
Someone going from a stormtrooper to one of the only remaining Jedi. Yeah. That would have been that would have been incredible.
And in like the books that back up the films and that, Finn was like one of the best stormtroopers ever. He was always like really sick at shit. So it kind of like they could have done that throughout the films, but they just chose not to.
But they did. But they just did it in the shittest way.
Yeah.
They just basically said, "Oh yeah,
Rey has to save him every time."
Yeah, Rey has to save him because she's the fucking what's the word? Mary Sue.
Mary Sue.
She's the fucking Mary Sue, isn't she? Whereas, like, bro,
she should have
turned to the dark. Because imagine that the film starts off. Rey's the fucking good guy,
and then Anakin.
John Boyega's in love with her.
Yeah.
And Kylo Ren is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And then, by the end of it, Kylo's the one who survives, and he's the one to carry on the Skywalker legacy. Yeah. Rey's dead, but she's sacrificed herself to take out Palpatine, or...
Technically, she's got all Palpatine's powers, according to Palpatine. Palpatine said, if you kill me, you will become me. And she was like, no, I won't do that. Yeah, I'll just kill you instead.
Yeah, with my... Jedi deflection? What even was that?
Yeah, if Mace Windu can't, she can't.
Yeah, Mace Windu didn't, Luke didn't, Darth Vader didn't, she can't. No. I don't care. And how's he just gonna, and he just like, it's getting me, shall I just stop?
What was the crowd? Was that like, obviously the Sith are a race?
The crowd was, that was ancient Sith. That was the ancient, bro, when I saw them, this is the thing, I was getting so mad about some shit, but when them cloaks all rose up and that, I was like, oh shit, is there going to be like some mad, like, all these red lightsabers. Fam, if they'd have literally just had some scene where all these red lightsabers.
They should have done that instead of all the fucking ships coming out the sea. Because that was that's like the second scene. And as soon as that happens, you just think, okay, so they're underground, under ice, and he just raised loads of ships out of the ice with crews and everything like. That bit doesn't make sense.
That was just ridiculous.
Like the cloning Snoke and that, maybe that sort of shit wouldn't piss me off so much if...
Go on, what's he saying?
You're right, Sammy. It wouldn't have pissed me off so much if some of the other shit made sense, but the fact that it was like, the ships come out of the sea, and I cloned Snoke and I've got like a million... It was just, everything was... convenient.
It was good. Well,
and after 7 and 8 being that way, you kind of waiting for the big sort of, like you say, Rey turning bad for a section of the film, Kylo actually having sort of conversations with other Jedi,
with Darth Vader, his own granddad.
Luke trained Ben, didn't he?
But why does Kylo have more of a connection with Sidious than Vader? He is literally a descendant of Vader.
Yeah.
He's Leia's son.
And if Darth Vader couldn't have turned into a Force ghost, then how the fuck did Palpatine stay physically alive?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what would have been cool as well? You remember when Palpatine shocks them and then he starts growing his fingers back?
Yeah.
I felt like in that scene, he kind of sucked all the energy out of them and then, like, they just came back alive.
Yeah,
how did he
power from them and then still be weaker than them?
Exactly.
Like
he managed to hold them up in fucking mid space and then.
And since when could you save people's lives?
Oh no, there was no. There is. That's like a really rare Jedi technique. Like there was ones who could do it before.
But she's never been trained by a Jedi.
No, but it's probably the way your midichlorians all align, innit?
Yeah,
that you
true.
can do, because all the Jedis have different abilities.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So her one was she had the healing thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And
but
she
there
could
should have been
and be distracted, and she could basically fly, and she could do all this shit that Yoda couldn't do. Yoda couldn't even fucking lift the ship, and she just goes. Zzz.
Yeah.
Like what? Like
and from that, it was only from her being trained by Leia. And I can't lie.
That's what I mean.
Leia wasn't much
enough.
of a. She wasn't much of a Jedi. She was. She did. She became after 6. She became a Jedi.
Yeah.
But she like
when the Jedi
she wasn't
all but gone.
She was like.
Yeah, she wasn't trained by Windu.
Like,
and
if we just put it, Leia versus Luke.
Yeah.
Luke's winning that 100 times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But this is the thing. Luke was made into a joke. So they
do you hear what Mark Hamill was saying?
Oh, don't.
He's
mate. There's like a 30-minute video
it's
of
like
just
watching
different clips.
Watching Mark Hamill's like watching Claude last season.
I know.
Like watching Claude from Arsenal Fan TV.
I know it is. No, but it's sad because he out of all of them didn't do much else.
Yeah.
His character, not only was he the main character out next to Anakin, but he was also the one that you only associated that man with Star Wars, which made him even more iconic. And then to basically just have him as some Frodo, like decrepit old moody man that, and fucking Mary Sue just walks in and just makes everything is 10 times more fucking powerful and all this shit.
Yeah, but you know what that is though. They just want to sell Rey toys. They want Rey to be because the thing is,
but they
the social.
they could.
I think the Catherine Kennedy, by the way.
Yeah. Fuck you, man.
She comes in and she's trying to make this sort of multicultural film. She's trying to make the lead hero. They're trying to make the lead hero a girl and all this, the powerful women. Do you know what? Do you know what would have been way better? If they made Finn the the new wave of Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kill off Rey.
Yeah.
You kill off Kylo.
And
the Skywalker's done now. The Skywalker's ended. So it's like the Skywalkers sacrificed themselves to stop Palpatine.
Yeah.
And now there's Finn sort of sitting there like.
And maybe Kylo. Maybe.
Well, like I said earlier, I think Kylo should have survived, but in a different scenario, if like. It could have been Palpatine versus Skywalker still, so Rey versus Kylo. Obviously, Rey switches to the dark side.
Yeah.
Kylo's on the light side. They do whatever, whether it's Rey and Rey kills Palpatine and then becomes evil, and then it's her versus Kylo, and Kylo channels all the Force ghosts and that, and then they would have. I feel like they could have. I think. All of them should have died. Skywalker should have ended there. Yeah. Palpatine should have ended there. And then Finn could come along and be this new, like... It's a new name, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's even his surname? No one knows. You might know.
I don't know. Actually.
But do you know what I mean? Finn, it goes from Skywalker to Finn starting up this new... Yeah.
In the memory of the Skywalkers.
Exactly.
He learned the lessons.
How are you going to call the first one The Force Awakens and the first thing of the trailer is Finn going like that? Surely that is like I'm a film. I do like films and stuff in it. So like,
so you see
like
that straight away.
Like there's that. It's kind of like when you're rapping and you got double meanings in it. Do you know what I mean? It's the representation of The Force Awakens.
That's put an expectation.
He should have been that Force Awakening. And you know what? They built him up and it's sad because they built him up so well in the first one.
Yes.
Wasted him in the second one.
Well, in the first one, with that Asian girl, had their roles and they needed each other to survive. But like you said with the Mary Sue, it doesn't matter if everyone in the Republic's basically just shit now because Rey's better than anyone's ever been put together.
Look at 9. 9 just became a copy of 6, but not as good. Like it's like
not
you got
who's
the fucking spice smuggler? I forgot his name.
Oh, Poe Dameron.
Yeah, like they tried way too hard. Way too hard.
He's not a comedian, innit? So his quips and that, like Harrison Ford, isn't funny, but he's got that classy old man sort of thing. So his quips, when they're corny, you laugh in like a uncle-y sort of way. But Poe Dameron kind of comes across as a bit, is a bit like a bit of a Chad, like a bit of a sort of like,
hey guy,
but he didn't.
All he needed was some shades, innit?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was just like every now and then, just like, are you sure? Like, it was just so like it was too like Han Solo was corny, but in the best possible way.
Yeah.
All the quips and the little like. You said they couldn't, and the fucking like hyper jumping and stuff like. Why introduce that?
Oh yeah, we're doing that weird bouncing thing and being in the middle of,
and then it not help in the end.
Being in the middle of like an asteroid field, and then in the middle of like a city, and then all the.
And even
like,
when they land, they're like, "That's never worked before," and he's like, "Well, it worked this time," but they didn't then use it later. And I thought, oh well, maybe. Do you know what I mean? He's supposedly a really good pilot, and that's like his background.
Yeah, whatever.
So
I can
maybe
accept
he'll
that.
use that in the future. Yeah, but just to have that in as a convenience just completely destroys like cause and effect. Every action has a reaction. That's what causes the attachment. That's what brings stakes to it. Like when Chewie, like when you said, like I think the point you was gonna make with like Chewie dying, it would have added more of like an emotional reaction out of the actors.
It's like Rey's inner dark side was actually the because she did the Force lightning.
Yeah.
So it would have been. And
I feel you can't do that unless you're evil. That's another thing. You can't do Sith Force unless you're Sith.
Well, this can't.
So surely she must have been bad side then.
She's meant to be evil, but they just did it really fucking badly. Like they did it so badly. They should have, because when she'd done that, that should have been the point where she's sitting there going, "Oh, why do I have all these weird feelings to the dark side and that?" Do you know what I mean? Like I'm doing this where it was just like, oh, it's all right. He was on the other space. What other space cruiser? There wasn't another space cruiser. And do you know what I reckon they did? Do you know what I reckon they did that? I reckon they fucked up in the filming. And there was scenes later on. I think there were scenes later on where Chewie was in it, and so they thought, "Oh, let's just bring it back to life really quick and just do that." And
the constant reshoots and stuff. Also brings it in, and you sort of in the end, do you think they'd cut out so much in that they were like, "Fuck it, should we just put the most sort of visual scenes in? Just put all the visuals in. That cost us the most money. We need to get money back on that." Like, how can you like? I know. The fight scene on Endor, where they meet the horse riding people, with the new Death Star that's in the sea, isn't it? That blew up like the first one blew up. How's half of it still intact and the doors opening inside and shit? And what she went to grab was still on like a holder in the middle of the room.
Oh yeah, the Wayfinder.
Oh, don't. Yeah.
Call it a fuck. It's a like fucking
Palpatine
holocron.
would send his assassin out around the world with a knife with the directions to where he's hiding.
Oh, that was so shit as well. Like, the fucking convenience of it being on that
but
knife.
This is Palpatine being there in a way. Sort of negates. Like, why would he create the First Order if he was in hiding? When Sith are in hiding, they hide. And they hide in hiding. They don't hide in public view with like, oh, I've got a new apprentice, but it definitely wasn't Palpatine behind this one. The First Order. Like, do you know what I mean? He wouldn't have made sort of Kylo and Rey until he'd need them to destroy the Republic, but the Republic was already destroyed and things like that. Like it's so frustrating. Because, like you say, it maybe it was in the original cut, but like it could have been redeemed to a point. Like the reason why we went to watch it, the reason why we went to watch it was because we knew that it could still be good.
Did you watch it without me?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we watched it without you, boy.
Yeah,
sorry, man.
Just like we did with Harry Potter.
You weren't meant to tell him.
No, but it really reminded me of like this, and it's kind of like the Avengers. I mean, the one big thing, and I say this to everyone all the time, and they always throw some fucking random fucking straight from the fucking studios excuse to me, like fucking Captain Marvel. Yeah, where was she in all the other films? The one hero they have that's basically like Superman sort of powers. why did she just turn up in the last episode when everyone? Do you know what I mean? And that's where films are going now. And I mean, don't Disney own Marvel now?
That was them, wasn't it?
That was them that done out Avengers, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And mate, part of me thinks they can make new ones that are good, but anything that they get that's old is gonna get ruined because it doesn't suit them to carry on someone else's work.
Well, now, if we move,
like
if we move on from that, because now it's all the Mandalorian, and apparently there's the Darth Revan, I think.
Oh, what, from the Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah. Apparently that's something that's in talks right now with going to be Keanu Reeves doing it, which will be wavy, innit?
I'd love that.
That'd be
that's what I mean. They kind of, someone said a really good idea was get the director from the Joker to do a trilogy that's a little bit darker.
I swear he is. I swear that's the...
Oh, is that the guy? Is it confirmed? Todd Phillips, in it?
It might not be confirmed, but I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well, and that's what all the fans are pushing for.
Yeah.
Because we need to get rid of this like cinematic experience. Like that's not what Star Wars is. It might have been in the 70s because of the effects and shit, but like that's not what made it famous. Yeah. It wasn't famous. Like Avatar would be all of our favourite things if it was just about the visuals.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's about like it was a fucking like it's about religion and life and like it's the space version of the world.
And that's the thing is and
they took
the
that
people who ain't so into Star Wars, e.g. probably Catherine Kennedy.
Yeah.
And other people like the other Disney execs, they just look at. How can I? So they just watch the 6 films and go, well, how can I tie this together? Rather than actually looking into all the other stuff. The other stuff, because there's way more comics than there is films or series or anything.
Yeah.
Way more comics. There's even comics about all this stuff, and she's coming out and saying there's no source material.
Yeah.
What do you mean there's no source material? What that means is you're actually not fucking. You're not clued up about what this means at all. Yeah. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, you've wrote like.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Antichrist.
Like I'm not gonna be like. Basically, I'm just trying not to seem like a proper fucking nerd, but
it's so hard when it comes to Star Wars.
But when it comes to Star Wars, because if you're actually really interested in the story, the lore is so deep. The lore is so deep that it deserves, and there's so much
lessons from
there's so much work that's been put in on it that it deserves respect.
Yeah, just think of the amount of hours that nerds have put, like you say, put in to being. Like it's an obsession. It is a religion.
It's a life. Some people actually follow being a Jedi.
Mate, it is classed as a religion in America because so many people signed it, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a church of Jedi.